Pretty cool, dude.
Thanks, bud. I'm building an online program for training people and trying to get back on the social medias.
Nice. I am not that flexible. Some
It's,
some of those some of those movements, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting up if I get down in that position.
You
yeah,
should do some.
it's a blessing and a curse, actually.
No, I know I
Yeah.
should. I don't mind being heavy. Obviously, it's not healthy for you, but I miss being flexible. Because even when I was like 275 in college playing football, I was still very flexible.
All right, hold on.
Well,
Hello and welcome to the Spicy Oranges podcast stream, D&D game, and all the other things where we're currently talking about yoga and how flexible we are or aren't. Okay, please continue.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you some pointers if you ever want some for getting it back.
I will if I get. Eventually, I will have to, but it's very difficult to stretch with 3 children running around your living room.
Yeah, no, I hear that. It's mostly just reaching and praying, I imagine.
Yeah. Like I could hurt myself and them. So
it's not so bad.
yeah.
Duncan. That's pretty good. I like that.
Thanks.
All right. Let's start. I'm gonna oh, I forgot to download this.
Are we shorthanded tonight, or are other folks coming?
We shouldn't be. Everyone should be around.
Except Kyle.
Is it his off week?
Thought
Didn't you
last
say
week
earlier
was
that
off
he wasn't going to
week.
make it?
Last week was his birthday. All right, here we go. This is from Foxy Proxy. And I mean, it's obviously very well done.
It's awesome.
Is that hand drawn or is that computer generated?
I don't know. I would have, we could ask Foxy Proxy.
It looks
very
like
good.
digital art, like something that was written or something that was done on like an iPad or something. But I would imagine it's
Either way,
sort of
very nice.
human created.
Yeah, I know Foxy Proxy does a lot of drawing, spends a lot to the art channel. But I quite like I like the like raven or crow. I can't tell because it's not its wings aren't spread. I can't see its tail, etc., etc. But I like that it has like a skull cap on, or it's either that or all of its feathers have been peeled off its skull. I like to think of it as a cap of some sort, like a hat, but perhaps it's not.
But then it also has horn bones.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That was your nickname in high school, wasn't it?
Horn bones. Stop that. That's
So
stop looking into my high school.
the expression's really good on this one too. I really like
Yeah.
this character really comes to life. I wonder if that's a name. Well, we'll never know. Usually Foxy Proxy is on by now, but not this week. As we reach the doldrums of summer, people are on vacation. No, we should have Gelidus and we should have Jana. They should be here any minute. In the meantime, would anyone like to recap what we've done recently? for our legion of dedicated viewers?
Uh, well, we had the archery fight, and Jana won her round. There were some other archery fights, but I mean, come on, you're here for a recap, not for the entire session over again. And then we went to investigate Queen Zadriel's death. We learned that she appears to have been boiled from the inside out. There are marks on her wrists and what looks like maybe an infernal mark and a band-shaped bruise around her neck. She was awake at the time of her death. So we went to the estate where she's staying. We questioned the servants and LSR, who's a friend and I think also another former victor of the tournament. Then we, that didn't really amount to much, so we went into the room and waffled for a good 45 minutes to an hour before one of us realized that they had the spell Speak with Plants. And then we learned a lot from the plants.
Hey!
Classic spicy oranges.
Yep. By the way, Skip's full name is Cornelius Skip Publio. So the plants tell us that the queen was getting ready for bed. There were many hands that appeared out of nowhere and pulled the queen through a blackness that opened up on the floor. Then the room went dark and the queen fell through the ceiling, hit the bed, and she was dead at that point. Nobody else has been in the room since. And they were, scary demonic hands. Thanks, Dirk, because we wouldn't have learned any of that without you.
You're welcome.
Then we went to the acting troupe, and they're going to do a body comedy called The Worm's Third Leg. Owen is set to star. Jana is going to be the leading lady because the DM is trying to set her up with Skip for some reason, who will become the eventual love interest. I didn't write that last part, but it's in there. And pretty sure that's where we ended.
Jenna has a small part. But yes, I mean, there's. I think it's pretty obvious that Skip was enamored from Jenna from the first moment he saw her. But regardless, Owen has a large part. Dirk has a fairly large part. Jenna has a very small part. Skip has a very small part. Ezra has a very small part. And then Zerwin and Geldis are supposed to be security.
Can we stop talking about how big people's parts are?
Sorry, yeah. Forgot about the 8-inch back thing. Right, yeah, and that was pretty much the end of the night, correct? We all went back to Chuckles' place to have a sleep. I'm assuming, but I don't really know.
I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't think we need it, but we can long rest, I assume, right?
Yes, you should always click long rest when you get the chance, just in case you forgot something on your character sheet.
Okie dokie.
The night at Chuckles' is uneventful. However, you are all awoken in the morning by the distant sounds of what you think might be thunder.
Oh no, it's not
Except
a good.
when you look out the window, the sun is shining.
Jesus, what is that?
Maybe we can get the pancakes to go this morning.
It's like that's the longest, most awkward pause maybe yet.
I had my coffee.
All right, folks, can we try to round it up relatively quick and go see what that fresh hell is?
Yeah, can we ask Chuckles? You ever heard that before, Chuckles?
Sadly, yes.
What is it?
That would be the Imperial Army in full regalia marching into the city of Drunel Hall. Well, into any city really, but in this case, it's Drunel Hall.
It must be
You can
Skip's
hear
brother.
the regalia?
You can hear their steel-clad boots as they hit the paving stones.
You can hear that.
So
What does
that must mean the
mean?
Emperor's here now.
That's exactly what that means.
Sweet.
Well,
Are you? That's not. You don't like that, Chuckles?
I'm not a huge fan of the Emperor. I wasn't a fan
Why
of the
would you
last
say
one,
that?
and I'm not a fan of the new one. I can't say I despise them, but
Chuckles,
Do you
something
hate
happened to
the?
your voice overnight.
oh yeah, sorry, I got to do chuckles. You're right. I'm sorry. Oh, let me back up. Didn't much like the last one, and I don't really care for the new one either.
No.
Is Skip in the room with us? No, he's off doing stuff, I bet.
Yeah, no, Skips is dropping off at night and waiting for you to come into town in the morning.
Chuckles, how would you feel if Skip was the Emperor?
Oh, I've always liked Skip. Yeah, super nice guy.
Do you think he has what it takes to be a leader of a whole empire?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think, I mean, he's led armies.
Oh, he hasn't told us anything about that.
Oh no, he'll never get that out of him. He doesn't like to
Why?
talk
Why?
about those days. I don't think he's. I don't think he's real proud of it.
Have you ever heard the stories?
I was there.
You were there.
Oh yeah.
What are the things he doesn't like to talk about?
Well, I think there are two types of men that lead armies, and two types of women for that matter. But the
So
first
four,
kind,
four types.
maybe, the first kind is the kind that revels in it. There's a power and a hunger and a glory of it, you know. And then there's the kind that realizes the terrible responsibility of having orchestrated the mass murder of thousands of people. And I think Skip's more that kind.
So there was an orchestrated mass murder.
That's what war is every time, buddy.
I think we could have some pretty important conversations in the nature of the word murder. But I hear you.
Sure.
Looking at my gambling ledger, do any of us have fights today? Probably Zerwin does. I don't because I'm not allowed to fight anymore.
Yeah,
Mm.
Zerwin does. Zerwin has round 2. You don't know when, but it's going to be at some point today.
Chuckles, is gambling permitted on the games?
Heck yeah. People
Okay.
love to gamble around here.
Do we know this may be an out of game question because I don't think Chuckles would know, but do we know who Zerwin's fighting next?
You do not.
Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful surprise.
I mean, you can go and it's probably posted by now.
Well, we'll get there. Does anyone else have anything they want to do here, or should we go try to check in on Skip and
I mean, is there any coffee?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just some for the road. If that's, I don't know if you have disposable
fill up a
travel.
wineskin?
I'm gonna fill up a wine skin with
Sorry, are you guys
Chinese
suggesting putting
Folgers.
coffee in a wine skin? Because I'm not okay with that.
What do they call the water bags? Or like, what do we use to carry water around?
Water bags.
Thanks. Water skin.
I would
Fill up
like to
Go ahead.
fill up a canteen of coffee, please.
Sure.
Great, thanks.
He like Chuckles drinks his coffee that it's like 50% maple syrup almost.
It's a good
I want less
ratio.
than that.
It's the platonic ideal of coffee, if you ask me.
Ooh. Out of game, does Plato exist in this universe?
The philosopher or the goopy stuff?
Oh, Jesus.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I thought they were the same.
One's a gluten and one's a Greek.
Plato? Gluten?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's literal. It's dough, man.
It's like
It's just got more
it's like,
salt in it.
yeah, super salty dough. It's like the worst bread you have never eaten.
Is Play-Doh glue?
No, it literally is. Keep in mind, like I used to work in childcare rooms. Used to have like panic attacks anytime it was Play-Doh day.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. That is a sacrifice. Anyways, I want less maple syrup than that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm not gonna get it for you. You can get it yourself.
I knew that. I'm going to do that.
He's like sitting in his like enormous rocking chair, like eyeing his pipe. Am I gonna light that up, or is it too early in the morning?
Is he saying that out loud?
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that for you?
You want to smoke my pipe?
No, light it.
Right.
Oh no, I think I should wait.
Okay. I'm literally getting coffee as this is happening.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a long day.
Hence the coffee. We should go.
Thanks, Chuckles. We'll see you later. Do you need
All
us to
right.
bring anything back for you while we're out?
No, I think I'm gonna stay away from town for a day or two. Hang out
Do you need
here
us
at the homestead.
to bring anything?
If anything looks good from the cooking, you can sneak me a little bit. I wouldn't be sad.
You got it.
Thanks, buddy. All right, so where are y'all headed? Obviously into Journal Hall. Let's pull up Albert Rodeo.
Oh, yeah. Get mine up too.
I feel like they should put an owl bear. Maybe I should put an owl bear on here.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving Chuckles, obviously you have to go down the road there. That goes south, and the road into town. The sort of distant thunder stops at some point, and there's the hills are the northern part of the city, and south it's flat, so you can't like where Chuckles' house is. You can see the top of the city, but when you get down on the road, you can't see the city until you come out to the fields. Um, it's a nice day, um, but as soon as you glimpse the city, you can see Imperial troops everywhere now. They're on the walls. They are at the gates. They are like marching about on patrol. Um, yeah, it's there. Juno Hall is probably doubled in size now. It's um, it's a massive occupation. Where to, friends?
Prior to the fight, or should we go to Skip first? We didn't talk to Skip last night, right?
You sort of did. You didn't. I don't think you gave him a full breakdown.
We should see Skip as long as Erwin's fight isn't right now.
Probably going to take us a minute to get in there. I assume he's got to see his brother. Not that he wants to, but that he's got to.
For the first time since you've been in Journal Hall, you're stopped at the gates.
Why?
Why do you want in?
We're
Oh.
participants in the games, and we're also working under the authority of the governor of this province. Here's our paperwork.
Okay. Have a good day, citizens.
Thanks, Jeremy. All right.
Did you just
Skipper.
randomly call that guy Jeremy?
Anytime there's an NPC that doesn't have a name, it's a Jeremy. We have the Jeremy on the guard that's at the dungeon on the Radiant Citadel. This guy's the guard that's outside Druna Hall. His name's
I
Jeremy.
just panicked. I just panicked a little bit that we knew this guard and it was important, and Duncan remembered their name. Just a little bit.
Okay. Now what, friends? You're inside the city. It's different. It's quiet. It's the festive air that had surrounded the opening of the games is greatly diminished. You can still hear the buzz of the hippodrome in the distance, but it's everything is muted and lesser.
Can we hear Emperor Din?
I'm not. No, you cannot hear Emperor. I don't know what Emperor Din is.
The din of the Imperial Guard.
I mean, the
Is it-
Imperial. They're everywhere now.
Is it louder where the Emperor is right now?
You don't know. The only thing that you're catching any sort of like real volume from is the arena.
Did we want to go see if Zerwin's opponent was posted?
Sure. Let's I mean, is Skip going to be at the arena?
Are you asking me?
I would think that he would be at the arena depending on what time the actual games start. I mean, he's got probably his brother to meet with. He's in charge of this investigation about this murder, but he's got to make an appearance at the games, he's the governor.
I mean, he's probably with the Emperor.
He's got to give the thumbs up, thumbs down.
What if we just followed the security intensity and just tracked it, and the more intense it got, we went that way?
I mean, if they're going to be intense, wouldn't they set those up outside the city?
You did pitch him a softball on that one. Fair is fair.
What?
Well, why don't we head over to the?
Let's go to the arena.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just sorry, let me pull up the map again. So my highlighter is you came in the gate that's up here, where this road comes in.
Right near bullshit.
Close. Yep. Good enough. You came through the market. That's here, and down this road here, down to the main road that goes through, and you turn down here, and when you reach, so remember that this is where the queen was killed, right? Which is why all your things are there. When you reach here, you see that this area is like absolutely crawling with guards, and you're certain the emperor is there somewhere. you kind of have to fight your way through like a throng of people who are quietly but dedicatedly awaiting like a view of their emperor. Continuing on or detouring here?
Ezra, what do you think?
Let's ask a guard. Excuse me. Is there a reason that the Emperor has stopped here as opposed to gone straight to the arena?
He is. This is his lodgings are down here.
Okay. Do you happen to know if he might be meeting with his brother, the governor, at the moment?
I don't know. I would guess that the governor would be there already wherever his brother is.
The governor would so.
I have not seen the governor this morning, but Skip's an early riser and he'll be up early to see his brother.
Okay. Okay. As much as I want to be a fly on that wall, Ezra's saying this to the group out of earshot of the guard. I doubt that they're just going to let us walk into that meeting. However, we could give the updates that we have about Lady or Queen Zadarel's death. Anyone have any strong feelings?
I mean, we could try. We could see if we could speak to someone who could get a message to Skip or something. Show him some papers.
I mean, we might even be able to get into that room, given the quality of the credentials that we have. You know,
Yeah,
that we were
right.
allowed into the estate to question the servants and LSR and to get into the room. Plus, the magus might be here, and he's gonna want to lash us with his tongue a little bit, I bet. So,
I'd love to get into that room.
yeah. All right, we're gonna try to penetrate the meeting.
Wow, you're gonna buy
That's a
flowers
choice.
first, or?
That's a choice of words right there.
All right, so you head down this road here, and you are stopped at this intersection. You can see that there is a wooden palisade wall that has been erected here and here. It's not very high, but it's got like hedgehogs on the top. So these two roads are completely blocked off. The foot traffic is being rerouted this direction, and there is a gate right here, and this is where you are stopped by a team of guards. One of the like a sort of gray bearded officer comes up. Can I help you?
Yes, we were here at the estate yesterday. We are investigating the death of Queen Zadarel on behalf of Governor Cornelius Publio. And our understanding is that he might be meeting with the Emperor right now, providing updates on the situation. We haven't had a chance to report to the governor ourselves yet, and we're hoping to join that meeting to provide our updates.
Let's just show them our credentials.
Yeah, you'll see the seal of the governor, the seal of the royal family here on this.
Right there.
Wait here, please.
Thanks.
He turns and walks to the gate where he is let in, and the gate is closed behind him. A few minutes later, he comes back out, and he motions, "Come, follow me."
Right away?
You go to the gates. Hold on a second.
We are definitely going to get arrested.
I just heard something in the other room. Probably a wayward child. You're shown through the gates. On the other side of the gates, hold on, let me use the highlighter again here. there's the wooden palisades that go like this. This building here, you're brought into the front door, and you are summarily relieved of all your weapons. And they are stored in some bins, and you are everything but strip searched. Then they're not going to do a full cavity check on you, but they're 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 a good man, Jeffrey, and thorough. And then you are let through.
Did they take Jana?
No, but they have divested Jenna of several blades.
Sorry.
Were we surprised at how many she had on her person?
I don't know.
I was just recreationally.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
I'm not medically surprised, but recreationally surprised.
There it is.
I don't know what medically surprised means.
Yeah, not professionally surprised.
No, just for fun.
Cool.
You're shown through, and then you're let out the back of this building. Then you find that there is another palisade that you couldn't see here and here. You're brought through the gates here. Your paperwork is checked again. You're stopped again. You're verified again. Then you're led through into this building. There you're stopped at the door. You're questioned again. Your paperwork is checked again. Then you're led inside. The first thing you see when you go inside is a boy. He is brown-haired, sort of tousle-haired, big-eyed, and he is sitting at a table in the sort of entryway reading a book. And
I kneel and I go, Emperor.
He looks at you and then rolls his eyes. He's like, I don't know, maybe 10. Then he goes back to reading.
Pardon me, could you direct us to the governor and the emperor?
Before you even get out more than the introduction, another guard comes out and is like, this way, please.
Thanks.
And he leads you into the house, and in the back room, there's some sort of large dining room, basically. And there in the dining room, you see several people. You see Skip, and you also see this man sitting at the end of the table.
Mark Antony.
He is currently listening and nodding while Skip is explaining what he so far has discovered. You also see another, oh gosh, do I not have his picture handy? I don't. There's another black-haired, younger-looking man with very sharp features and kind of pale skin sitting at the table. And then, do you remember the mouth of the Emperor, that guy?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
He's also
can't
there.
remember who he looked like, but
His picture's in the NPC's channel. He's
he
got
looks,
gray hair.
yeah, he looks like a serious Roman guy.
Yeah, exactly. They all turn and look at you, and Skip stands up and says, "Ah, good. Just in time, please. Come in." And then he says, "Brother, these are the people I was telling you about. Everyone, this is Marcus Lucius Publio." And he looks at you really expectantly, you should bow.
Yeah. Ezra bows
I'm
and
bowing.
steps forward.
I also bow, but don't step forward.
Emperor Publio, Governor Cornelius has allowed us to assist in the investigation into the death of Queen Zadarel. We are here to provide our report
Skip,
on
have
our
you
finding.
not got this report yet? Can you not brief yourself? And Skip says, no. They were working late into the night, and I was working late into the night. I haven't seen them since. Oh, very well. Carry on.
We questioned the servants as well as LSR. Neither appeared to have any involvement in the event. We did check the room where it occurred. We found that there was something preventing us from speaking with the departed Queen Zadarel. However, one of us is a skilled ranger and was able to speak with the many plants in the room, and we learned that there was a fiendish influence that resulted in her death. She was transported to another plane. There was a gag that was placed around her neck that prevented her from speaking or casting spells.
Everyone can now make a perception check at disadvantage. That means you roll 2, take the lower result.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sucks because I got a 29 and a 13.
Two
I got
13s.
I got a 12.
I will use Bill. If I used a sorcery point to re-roll this, would it just be re-rolling the lowest one and taking that? Or would you want me to roll with disadvantage again and just see if I happen to roll better?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think you're re-rolling the roll itself, right? Would you, if you re-rolled with advantage and you spent that sorcery point, you'd
The way that it works is if I fail a check, I can re-roll it. Which to my reading would mean that I just re-roll the failed roll.
well, because the check is at disadvantage, right? The roll isn't at disadvantage, the check is at disadvantage. But that would also mean if you roll it for advantage, you would get advantage, right? The check would be an advantage or disadvantage. That's the way I would read that.
When you make an ability check that fails, you can spend one sorcery point to re-roll the d20.
Two people in this group would know the answer to this, I think.
Yeah, neither one of them are here.
Neither of them are here.
I got a text. Oh, I'm gonna text Geldis. Where is he?
I think he texted that he was on his way, but
Yeah, he's probably trying to get
No,
a
that
child.
was Jana that texted us.
oh. I don't know people's phone numbers. I mean, like, I don't have them memorized. I'm a millennial. I keep them in my Rolodex.
I don't know. Roll a d20. Tell me what you get.
I'm gonna roll a d20.
I'm not gonna let you re-roll with advantage next time if it's an advantage roll, though. So keep that in
22.
mind.
No, I know. I would do the same thing. If it was advantage, I would only re-roll one.
Okay, you got a 22.
Yes.
There is not that you make a habit of staring in that direction, but Jana's chest area is glowing a little bit. There's a slight glow from her cleavage today. One you've not noticed before.
Who notices that? Just Ezra, right?
Just Ezra.
Yeah, who notices that?
Just Ezra.
Ooh, that's alarming. Okay. Ezra will finish laying out what the information that we gleaned from the plants. So our ranger was able to speak with, I think, 4 or 5 different plants living in the room. They were able to describe that these demonic or devilish hands appeared out of nowhere and grabbed the queen. There was a portal open in the floor, and they dragged her through. And then later, the room went dark, and a portal opened in the ceiling, and her dead body fell out of the portal. The plants also told us nobody had been in the room since that had occurred other than us, or other than the people who found her and then us.
Cause of death?
That information was given to us before we began our investigation. It appeared that she had been boiled from the inside out.
Time of death?
She had been preparing for bed, so it would have been the evening before, relatively late in the evening. She was awake at the time that she died. The flowers that were in bloom on her person were the color that they are when she's awake.
Well, Skip, it seems we have an international kerfuffle on our hands. This is not how I wanted to start my emperorship. Father isn't even in the ground yet.
I would note, as much as Fey beings are known for their skill at illusion, this seems to indicate either a demonic or a devilish force was involved, not a Fey force.
I don't give a fuck what killed her. I just want it to be clear that it wasn't us.
That's the Emperor saying that.
Yeah, that's going to be your job, Otho. And he turns to the dark-haired man. Go make it happen. Otho stands up and nods, bows slightly, and exits the room. Very well. Anything else?
Could we have a word with the governor?
You want to speak to my brother without me present? That just
Yes,
seems rude.
all right. If that's not possible at this moment, we'll be on our way.
Oh no, you'll stay right there, actually, until Otho is finished.
Could I surmise that Otho is the Magus?
How could you surmise that?
What did he look like? You said sharp features, dark hair.
Yep. Hold on, I got a picture of him.
Hope he's wearing a robe.
Is he holding a spell book?
Does he have Magus tattooed on his forehead? Dead giveaway. Oh, did I have to fucking...
There he is.
That looks like a spell book to me.
May I presume that Otho is the Magus?
Otho, yes, he is my Imperial Magus. Tell me, who are you and where are you from?
As I answer, I'm going to glance at, or as I introduce us, when I glance at Jana, I want to pay close attention. Is her necklace still glowing now that Otho has left the room?
No.
Fuck. Okay. My name is Ezra Briarhip. These are my colleagues. Ezra introduces all of them. We originally from the Radiant Citadel on a different plane. We are here.
You're
in-
from the Radiant Citadel.
None of us are originally from there, but that's our home.
And where are you from originally?
I was born in the Feywild.
Hmm. And you, sir? Sorry. Dirk, I believe it was.
Oh, I've been all over. I don't really have a home.
Dirk
Just
is
been
originally from
traveling.
Faerun, so he's from this world.
You have a slight Baldirian accent about you.
Yeah, but look, I have family at the gate, but I don't really have a home.
Hmm. And you, Mr. Purple-haired dwarf?
His hair's green now.
Nope.
It wore off, I assume.
Yep, it's purple again.
That's a shame.
Jesus Christ, I don't even remember where I'm from. When we start this game,
Thought when we talked about it last time, I want to say we said that you were also from somewhere in Faerun.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I am.
That's
I'm
correct.
a mountain dwarf.
Hmm. And you, sir? He gets out that Gelidus and Owen are from Kryn, and then looks like Jenna stepped away, but there she is. And you, miss?
Um, sorry, can we actually play this as I've stepped away?
Yes, go ahead. Good luck. Godspeed. Hmm. So, Speaker Shola sent you then?
Yes.
Hmm. Yes, my father knew her. I have never had the pleasure. Tell me, what's she like?
She's brilliant, talented. She's a gifted leader, compassionate.
What makes a gifted leader?
She seems to recognize when there is a problem that needs to be addressed before others do, and when she is unable to to tackle that problem on her own, she's able to delegate to those who might be able to solve the problem.
I see. You're of the opinion then that leadership is something best handed down to underlings.
I think one of the hallmarks of a talented leader is they can take the people around them and bring out the best in them.
I wonder what the best in people is sometimes. Suppose, for example, I had around me a handful of individuals not from my realm, having never been here before, sent by a foreign leader who's known to dabble her fingers into the business of other sovereigns, sending agents to do work of which I have not been appraised. Is the best that I should bring out in the people around me now the violence? The truth?
You're asking us to explain why we came here originally. We're telling rather than asking.
I
We're here
have some
because
suspicions, but you haven't offered, and I find that to be telling in and of itself.
the auroral diamond is in danger. There appears to be a corruptive magic that is damaging the diamond. Slowly, but it's there. And there's also a plot organized by a group of fiends, archdevils, and demon lords that, working together, mind you, that we've been able to to look into or begin the process of trying to deal with. We think that they're trying to either destroy the diamond or gain control of its magical energies. And Speaker Shola was able to find that the source of the corruptive magic that's affecting the diamond was here in Journal Hall. Something to do with the ley lines here. That's why we're here.
Hmm. How do you suppose she was able to determine that this was the source of the corrupted magic?
She told us that she had utilized very powerful magic users.
Ah.
Out of game, I don't think she specified anything more than that.
I don't remember either.
I'm pretty sure that's. I can look through notes if you want, Bill.
Nope, that's what she said. Do you find it odd that someone on another plane accessing powerful magics was able to determine that a city in my empire was the cause of their problems?
I guess I would argue that the cause of the problem seems pretty clearly to be these incredibly powerful fiends.
Are they here?
No,
Ezra,
one moment, please. Your Grace. Ezra goes over to Dirk. Yes.
look, they're not here. It's if we just might point out to his holiership, uh, eminence, the magic's fucked up here. I don't know how the diplomacy, but it's pretty obvious that magic's fucked up here. So like maybe we could just because they don't need to be fiends here right now. But magic's fucked up here, and that's obvious. I can say it. Do you want me to say it? I'll say it. I'll just go. I can present it to him. I didn't want you to be mad.
I'll get there.
Okay, cool. Just because that feels like evidence. I'm just saying it feels like evidence.
Where were we, Emperor Publio?
Oh, I don't know. You were about to defend your position. I was growing bored, but that's not because of you. You're doing just fine.
The corruption to the magical energies in the ley lines may be more of a symptom than a cause. We're hoping to alleviate the symptom and continue our search for the cause.
I thought you said you knew the cause was a coalition of devils and demons working together.
Yeah, we're hoping to alleviate the symptom in order to, as we continue to move closer to dealing with
Alleviate the
those.
symptoms sounds vaguely like a threat, dear halfling.
I suppose that would only be the case if you were directly involved in the corruption of the ley lines.
Or if people in my empire were people under my sovereignty, people to whom I get to offer amnesty or punishment. Suppose I were to walk into your room and, do you have any children? Probably not. Smack your dog because he had pooped on my lawn. You may not be necessarily have been threatened personally, but it's certainly a threatening gesture for me to do so. Would you not agree?
Emperor, I think unfortunately you're comparing things that are in no way alike. All analogies limp and some crawl. And my dog, or your dog, I'm so baffled by this analogy that I can't even follow it.
I'll make it simpler. Having sent a group of people into my realm without my knowledge or my permission to find and eliminate something that has to do with my land and my people because it pooped in your yard fits the analogy, in fact, almost perfectly.
If I if I may, Your Eminence, Your Lordship, apologize. I don't. I'm not fully trained in the customs, so I think what my dear diplomatic friend is saying is that there are things in our realm that are a little messed up, having to do with magic and ley lines, and there is a hunch from people over there that it might have something to do. People's over here. We came here with an escort, who is, as far as I understand, directly associated with the with your regal royal family. We have been hanging out with them to the best of our ability, following all protocols while we were here. As soon as we found out that you were here, we came to you. The reason that we are here is because we thought, as a hunch, there was some magical stuff going weird here. And when we got here, there's magical stuff going weird. We don't want to be behind the radar. We're right here. We're standing in front of you. We're having this conversation. So apologies if there were some like diplomatic communications that were not established beforehand. We're just here trying to sort out a problem in real time. So, you got magic issues happening in this land. We had magic issues happening over there. We had a diamond that was falling apart. We're just trying to gather as much information as possible with as much transparency to you as possible. We're just working things out. We're just working it out in real time. Your honor, your liege, your eminence.
Hmm. He looks over at Skip, who is fairly grinding his teeth. My brother isn't trying to say that you are at fault for anything that you've done. He's trying to say that you've been set here almost as a setup.
Ooh, that would suck. I would hate that.
He's incorrect, though, which does happen from time to time, doesn't it, dear brother? And the Emperor looks back at him and says, no, it doesn't. Skip says, if you're done trying to humiliate my friends, we can leave. Yes, you can leave, but don't leave the grounds until I hear back from Otho, please. And Skip, I will be holding you responsible for anything that they've inadvertently fucked up because, well, because Skip salutes and turns on his heel and walks out of the room.
Ezra bows and moves to follow.
So is there one?
Down to 2.
All right. Back in the sort of main chamber, the boy. Hold on a second. I have a picture of the boy. The boy looks up from his book and smiles. Uncle Skip! And he like jumps up. Daddy is in a mood. I know he is. But he like runs up to Skip, but stops short of hugging him, and like stands up straight and salutes. And Skip snaps to attention and salutes him back. They just do a hand to their chest as their salute, by the way. How are you? Skip says after the boy kind of like maintains his seriousness. What are you reading? Oh, some boring history, Father says I have to read while I'm here. Skip says, boring histories, eh? Let me see. And he picks up the book that the kid was reading and flips through it a little bit. And he's like, this is absolute drivel. You'll spend hours reading this, full of the names of dead people who did nothing and who begot this person and begat that person and built this bridge. It's simply terrible, isn't it? And the boy's like, slowly like you can see like the hope drain from the little boy. And Skip is like, yes, this will probably take you a good 3 or 4 days to get through. And the whole time, you here reading this book, well, just a few hundred yards away, the games are happening. And the boy is like, eyes are closed, and he's like grinding his teeth. Yes, but father says it's very important. And then Skip, while the boy has his eyes closed, Skip takes the book that the boy was reading, and stuffs it in his sack and pulls out another book and sets it down at the table. Uh, anyone who wants to take a look at that book's cover can make a perception check.
Huh?
26.
$19.
My phone's ringing. Hold on one second. Apologies. Hello? Hi there. Hi. Hold on one second. Got a few minutes? Hey, can you hear me? I actually am right in the middle of something.
Listen, I want to make it clear that in that analogy, it's not just that the dog is shitting on people's lawns, it's that the dog is preparing to burn down not just our house, but literally every house, including this one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe the dog is going to make the owner a little richer in his little insurance scam to burn down all the houses, but
I'm sorry, are you clarifying the analogy right now?
it breaks down a little bit at that point.
All right, sorry, I'm
I
back.
think you did great, Ezra.
Nah, I've
What'd you all
always
roll?
had this problem. I'm trained in this, art of being charismatic and going between people and solving problems verbally, but whenever I'm in the room with someone truly powerful, here or Pinnicus, it's hard for me not to get tripped up in my own thought process. And
You're doing a very good job of picking your words, and he was doing a very good job of being disingenuous with you. I got you, Beth.
That's pretty much correct. All right, what'd you guys all roll?
26.
19.
Gentleman's 9.
13.
Zerwin and Jenna. This book is titled. I wrote it down. It's like the greatest fights in the history of the tournament, the Three Realms tournament. So it's like a recap with like drawings of like all the greatest battles that have ever taken place in the arenas across the years. And the kid opens his eyes again. He's like, "Father said that I get to go to 1 hour of the games for every book I read." Skip says, "Well, you better get at it then. I'll leave you to it." And the boy, like, kind of sadly nods and sits back down at the table. And then he looks at the book, and his eyes get really wide. And he looks back up at Skip, but Skip's turned around to face you. So you can all see, like, the wonder in which he gazes at Skip's back. Okay, we need to talk. He looks,
Yep.
the kitchens, please. He herds you all into the kitchens. Tell me, is there anything else that you left out?
Well, first off, the Magus Otho has some sort of demonic influence. Zerwin's necklace that Jan is wearing was glowing in front of him.
It's not him. It's his. He has an artifact. It's
What's the artifact?
um, It's part of the lineage of being the Magus Imperium, the Imperial Magus. The legend goes 500 years ago, one of the family was attacked by a demon and saved by the the mag the mage. And when they slew the demon, they cast it into this artifact, or at least some of its power. And now it gets passed down from Imperial Mage to Imperial Mage.
Can you tell me the shape that the artifact takes?
Yes, it's a pendant that he wears about his neck.
Okay. I wish you had maybe led with that in the conversation about the mages yesterday.
Why would I ever lead with that? He's got a million artifacts that he has at his disposal.
Maybe we should have been a little clearer with you about all of the different fiendish, infernal, devil, demon
Well, yeah, but
nonsense we've been.
this can't possibly be connected to all that. It's from 500 years ago, and it's not like a actual demon. It's like a artifact that has been here for centuries. It's not like some demon is infesting this ring and causing the mage to suddenly poison the well, right?
Well, that's exactly what my worry is. And forgive me if I don't feel very reassured after the conversation we just had with your brother, where he seemed to indicate tacitly that maybe he's involved.
No, I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying that Speaker Shola intentionally wants to gain influence in other places for the betterment of the Radiant Citadel, and has agents all over the plains doing exactly that.
Do we know,
Betterment is. Go
did
ahead.
she talk to uh, this guy's father?
In the conversation, it was mentioned that the previous emperor had met with Speaker Shola.
So he may have been aware that we were being sent, and that's what I thought. Okay.
It's very possible. You have to understand, my brother has been emperor for a couple of days, and he's always been very smart and ruthless, but also a surprisingly fragile ego. Or perhaps not surprisingly. He sees you as a threat because not of who you are, but because of who Speaker Shola is. My suspicion is that Shola had spoken to my father and told him that she was going to send people. That message never got to him. He feels slighted, he feels betrayed, and because he is constantly looking for ways in which he can manipulate other people to gain power, he assumes that Shola is doing the same thing.
Hmm.
It doesn't occur to him that a sovereign doesn't want to increase their sovereignty. You mentioned, Ezra, something about not being able to speak with the dead queen.
That's correct.
Somebody already
The
had.
dead, yeah, the speak with dead spell didn't work.
That's not good. Otho is certainly going to blame you for that.
Well, can you talk to the plants?
I don't know, actually. He might not be able to. He'll find someone who can, though. All right. Look, whatever happens, I'm not going to let you all get hurt or imprisoned. Okay? So just play it cool. Try to speak only when spoken to. And remember that it is dangerously thin ice that we all tread around my brother. He's unpredictable. The one thing I will say that he has going for him is that he desperately wants this first crisis to turn into an opportunity. And the best way for him to do that is to prove that it was not the Imperium that killed the Queen. And if he can blame it on demonic factors, he almost certainly will. So your testimony, believe it or not, probably pleased him. Also, he's the kind of person who is pleased at another dead monarch because it means there's a power vacuum somewhere, one that he could potentially exploit.
In that way, he reminds me of a lot of the Fey families.
Speaking of which, Ezra, what are they going to do when they find out that the Queen is dead? Do you know?
Bill. So she's not a queen in the Feywild, is she? Or was she?
So she is one of the queens of the Fey kingdoms.
Yeah. So, I haven't used this before, but my background is courtier or courtier, court guy, court functionary. Your knowledge of how bureaucracies function lets you gain access to the records and inner workings of any noble court or government you encounter. You know who the movers and shakers are, whom to go to for the favors you seek, and what the current intrigues or interests in the group are. Based on my background and my experience in the Feywild, would I have an understanding of what's going to happen?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I'll tell you what. You do have an idea. You do have an idea. First of all, everyone who could use wild magic within a certain range absolutely felt the shockwave of this death. 50 miles is a long way. That's going to reach into the Fey Kingdoms, which is more like 15 miles that way. Probably someone in her family was, at least one family member was in some way tied to her magically. They'll immediately sense it. They're going to send people here probably in the next day or two.
Ezra tells that to Skip.
You'll also know that there will be an official delegation that will be sent from the Fey Kingdoms. That could be another sovereign. It could be literally anyone. The Fey Kingdoms are unpredictable that way. You never know who they're going to send. But probably before the official convoy gets here, one of her family members will be here. Someone that she's tied to in some way will be here first.
Okay. Ezra tells all that to Skip. So we'll be getting visitors from the Fey Kingdom soon. They're going to want answers.
Do we have any idea why she was specifically attacked?
No. Are you
She's
asking
the
Skip that question?
Yeah, I'm asking the group out loud. Like Ezra,
She's-
do we know, was she in charge of something? Was she?
she's
I
the
know she's the.
first victor of the games. She's an incredibly powerful magic user. She is a monarch in the Fey Kingdom, and it seems likely, especially because we've already heard, little whispers that maybe Emperor Marcus would like to go to war with the Fey Kingdom. Man, nothing stirs the pot more than a literal war. So if the fiends are trying to distract everybody or get a lot of people killed for whatever reason, then pitting these two nations against one another would be a pretty good way to do that. So in addition to her being a monarch, in addition to her being an incredibly powerful magic user and an icon of these games, it looks bad for the Publian Empire that she died here and was clearly murdered.
She's a symbol.
Yeah.
Is there anything? So in Wonder, they wanted dragon metal. Is there something that her monarchy has control of that the fiends and devils might want? Is kind of where I'm going. Does she keep some sort of power in check in her role as monarch? Does she?
You can
You
make
know,
a background check, Ezra, for that to see if you can. I'm gonna
Would
say,
that be wisdom intelligent?
yeah. I mean,
Or do you want like a knowledge history
probably a
or
knowledge
insight?
history. Yeah.
Here we go. 15.
Her kingdom is unsurprisingly super dense forest. Um, it's one of the older parts of what's considered the borderlands of the Fey realm, which the Fey kingdoms are, and so is the Wild. It's old, powerful magic, kind of mysterious. The her palace is like the Malorn tree elves sort of deal.
Ezra tells that all to the group. No, I think it's more about trying to pit these two empires against each other and distracting everyone from the real problem, which is whatever's going on with the magic, and distracting us from trying to solve that. That would be my guess, but I'm not an expert.
Skip is called back into the other room, and you see that Otho has walked by. You can't hear anything in the room. And he comes back out a few minutes later and says, "You're all free to go. I suggest you go to the arena because you're gonna have to get ready for a fight soon, Zerwin. And also, good luck. I'll see you there."
Wheels up.
yep. Let's go.
Okay. The name. All right. So first of all, there are fewer people in the arena today than there have been over the past couple days. And that's because there are so many people around those palisades, hundreds, maybe 1,000, just trying to get a glimpse of the Emperor. It's a real awe thing. The name that you have drawn is Grolm.
See in the NPCs too.
I don't know. You want to try to look around, see if you find him?
Yeah. What's he look like? See the rhino?
Yeah.
Okay. I see him. How tall is he?
He's tall, 6.5 feet.
But he's smaller than the guy I fought last time, right? One of the giants there.
Yes.
And that's the armor he's wearing. He's got like a shoulder brace.
I don't know why I can't pull up. My computer's
Wait.
being dumb.
Are you looking for the rhino?
There it is. I got him. Yeah, that's how he is.
You can just
He's
grab
what's
that.
What's on his other shoulder? Nothing.
Yeah, leather straps.
And what's he fighting with? Do I know yet?
Well,
Pecs.
yeah, so it's grappling and melee. Like there's no
Oh,
weapons
that's right.
left.
We're grappling. All right.
Yeah. His
So
raw animal sexuality.
yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
So
The strange confusion that you feel staring at him. He's fighting
So-
with that.
Some kind of awakening just took place.
so you just want a basic strategy, and then I'm going to roll 5 dice, right?
What?
Yeah.
Before you do that, what are the odds currently
Oh, they're 5 to 6 against.
against Irwin?
Yep.
All right, Ezra's gonna bet 700 gold on Zerwin and his baby purples.
Jesus, how much gold do we have left?
I mean, this is my gold.
Oh, never mind. I've got a shitload too. So just wondering how much you had. All right. So I would guess that he's just gonna fucking charge me. So I would. I mean, I don't know if you want me to use one or if I am even allowed to, but I would rage immediately as he's charging me, which again would be 10 rounds advantage to strength checks. It's not weapons, but I'm resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. And I could definitely be pierced and bludgeoned in this fight. So I don't know if that matters, but so I would rage when I get in there. I would probably let him run at me. Do my best to sort of sidestep and trip him as he was running. So he would just sort of nosedive. And then I'm jumping on his back and just, if I can get a hold of those ears, I'm either going to rip one off or I'm going to slam his head into the ground over and over again until his horn breaks off. And then, like I said, I try to choke him out. If I can stay on his back, I will just ground and pound and choke him out if I can do it.
Okay.
All right. So you want 5 d20s?
Yeah. Dirk, do you want to talk strategy next time before someone goes in the ring? You looked like you wanted to talk strategy.
I had thoughts, but I didn't. It's not my place. It's not my place.
Listen, you guys can always offer each other,
Yeah.
friendly
What do you
advice.
got, Dirk? What do you got, Dirk?
I'm just concerned about the choking out. Not that it couldn't happen. I'm not sure. So dogs, when you get a dog a choker collar, right? It doesn't actually strangle them because the muscles of a quadruped's neck are not oriented the way that the vertically, and obviously this is a vertically oriented thing, right? But the muscles are more like the muscles around the thigh. So if you were to squeeze like a choker collar around your thigh, that looks like a rhinoceros neck. So all I'm saying is that the choking might not be as effective because human necks are particularly vulnerable because of the proximity of the airway to
All
the
right.
front of the neck. So you may not have as much. I'm just saying if you're going into this with ground and pound and choke out rear naked choke,
You don't think
you,
it'd be? Listen, that's a good point.
I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm just saying maybe just don't rely on it too much as your end game. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I know the fans want to see something bloody, so I'd
Yeah.
rather beat him into submission.
Yeah, I think if you broke his spine, that would be good.
Yeah, and then if we end up, William, sort of face to face in an actual grapple, I'm going to attack the unarmed shoulder more than the unarmored shoulder. Obviously, I'm not going to try to punch that pauldron, whatever you call it.
But it
Uh,
might be an injury. It might be protecting an injury if you could crank it.
well, it looks like it's his. It looks like he's got a sword over there, which he's not going to be using.
Do you have a sword over there?
I assume, right? Is that a sword on his left hip?
It doesn't matter. He can't bring a sword in.
But I'm saying I assume he's right-handed. if that's the case.
Mhm.
And I would rather attack his weak side. So, all right, here we go. Dice one. I guess I can just roll all 5 at once. The problem is, how do you see?
I think if you
Ooh.
click on the dice itself, like when you bring up the side window, if you click on your
Oh, the actual die, it'll show me all of them.
yeah.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
here we
Thank
go.
you for picking up what I'm putting down.
5 d20s. All right, so I rolled and I get my strength modifier here, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's pretty
20,
good, guys.
2016 nat 20, 8 and 11. So hopefully my trip thing works. That first
Okay.
one.
He steps into the ring or into the arena, and for the grappling, it's bare, right? There's nothing in there. It's just, dirt. Um, and
He runs at me as hard as he can, doesn't he?
he lowers his shoulder, that like and like he runs at you with his like head and his shoulder down. Um, and that arm sort of like this. So it's like if you somehow manage to like dodge the spike, right? If you're not going to get gored, the odds are good that he can swipe at you with his arm, which is exactly what he does. Um, However, what'd you roll total on that first roll?
A dirty 20.
Yeah. Um, However, you see it coming. And not only do you get out of the way of the big gore as he sweeps by, then as he swings his arm, you manage to grab it with 2 hands, plant your heel and pivot, and like basically use his swinging momentum to face plant him directly into the ground. And here's the best part: he botched his second roll. So not only do you face plant him in the ground, but his horn gets stuck in the
Cool.
ground.
That's good.
And he can't like move his head. So what was your second roll?
16.
Yeah, you jump on his back. You uh, manage to grab his ears, and they're pretty solidly attached, but you box them pretty hard. And he kind of gets woozy. What was your third roll?
Nat 20.
Oh my God, he rolled an 18, and he would have beat you. Okay, he like roar snorts and like like jerks his head back, and like earth and dirt and rocks go flying in this arc like so hard that it goes shooting out into the crowd, and like people are pelted with like stones and dirt, and he goes so hard that it launches him all the way backwards, and you just decide to like cling and roll. And so as he goes all the way backwards, he lands like on his side, and you like have you like wrap your legs around his waist, right? And basically take that arm that you said you were going to attack, the left arm, and
Mm-hmm.
pull it backwards hard enough that you hear it break. It breaks on the upper arm, and he just like, like like a scream of pain as the bone snaps. What's your fourth roll?
An 8.
So he turns to you like as you break his left arm. You're still on top of him with your legs laced, right? That you've broken that arm. He elbows you right in the temple, so hard that your vision explodes, um, and it's just like white light everywhere. And in the crowd, all of you can see that blood just like it looks like someone took like a wet paper towel against the like concrete and smacked it with a hammer. There's that spattering and like a tearing sound as a temple, like all the skin on the side of Zerwin's head just tears. He goes flying off and lands on the ground backwards. What'd you get for your fourth roll?
What was the
Oh,
fourth one?
The fifth one, sorry.
just an 11.
He leaps on top of you, and with his good hand starts pummeling your head and smashing it off the ground. As like hammers backwards and hammers backwards. Um, However, he gets so into it that he reaches out with his left arm, and when he does, he screams in pain, and you have an opening, and you knee him in the groin very hard, and then you, um, without realizing the stupidity of your mistake, you go to headbutt him. It's just because it's like instinctual for you.
Been
But
there.
yeah, but he like, as he like, knee him in the groin, right? He like hunches over, so you actually miss headbutting him, which is also a series of really awkward movements. And the two of you like smash each other's heads, like your forehead hits like the back of his head, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
which is like his only soft spot, and you're both knocked unconscious. Um, However, you have done more damage to him than he did to you, which means you wake up first and you are declared the victor.
Hey.
That was a close one. That nat 20,
Hey.
that nat 20 saved it. You like you like woozily stumble to your feet, and you hear like something in the distance, and you can't quite figure out what it is, and then like your hearing returns and it's the roar of the crowd. Um, and there's blood all over your face, and you've got a big welt, and the clerics are like rushing. They're all standing around waiting to see who the first person to stand up was, and it was you. And so they immediately give you healing, and your wounds are healed. And in a very dramatic moment, um, I mean, it was all pretty dramatic, but Grom stands up, and his arm gets put back into place, and he gets healed, and he walks over to you, and he grabs your wrist, and he holds your hand up as the victor.
Did he pick me up right off the ground?
Yes, he did.
He's a bit taller than I am.
And he's very strong. And he turns to you and says, "That was fucking great." And he slaps you on the back and walks into the athletes area.
All right.
Saved by a nat 20. Well done.
Hmm.
Good old Grom. All right. Do you want to watch any of the other? You've seen most of the contestants already, but if you want to continue watching, you can.
I mean, I don't need to hear the fights, but who did our barbarian or our free people friend win? Free persons?
Andrzej wins his match handily, actually. And the sumo wrestler wins his, or one like the closest thing to a sumo wrestler there is.
Yeah, yep.
Gosh, yeah. Hold on, I gotta pull all the rest of these out.
Did the like monk win?
So there's a couple
Like
different monks.
the Bruce Lee guy?
Yes, he wins. And the terrifying, like black stone looking dude, the one that has like gold paint all over him.
Yep.
He wins handily. Yeah, sorry, I gotta pull up the rest of these guys. The
Man, how many
old,
rounds? Is it 5 rounds? What? How big was the bracket? 32.
Hold on, I don't know, I gotta look. It wasn't fully filled out, but there
Oh,
were, yeah, no, there were still, I want to say like there was still 16, I think, yeah. So I think 8 are gonna make it to the next round.
all right.
There's an old dude who's bald and has tattoos all over. He makes it through. I don't know. Let me let me get back to you on that. I'll put it in the downtime stuff.
No, yeah, no rush. Cool. I was almost going to suggest I re-roll one of those last two and use some danger awesome points, but guess I'm glad I didn't.
Oh yeah, there's some cool. I have some cool people fighting in this. I'm excited. The orc.
If only
The orc wins also. All right. Anyway.
if only there was a caster competition.
Yeah. All right. So probably the most thrilling match of the day is yours is actually right up there. Yours is definitely the closest match of the day. Um, it came down to like who got up first, and you stumbled up first. So people are gonna remember that. But probably the most terrifying match of the day is the old man, and he is facing off against some massive weird ass creature that you've never seen before. And he's like, looks like he weighs like 170 pounds. Um, and he is out there and he moves not necessarily, he moves fast, but he moves kind of like in weird, unexpected ways. His body, it's kind of gross. His body doesn't move right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't move right. He only wears like basically a loincloth.
Does it look
Um,
like it's jello-y or like it's sort of like sporadic? Like does he look kind of does he move in like a bony way and just happens to be in the right place at the right time, or is he sort of like jello-y and slides around?
no, it's bony. Um, but it's like he should be breaking bones the way that he moves. And he speaking of breaking bones, he breaks his opponent's bones like basically one by one. Starting with like hand bones and wrist bones and like his opponent like swings a fist and the guy like lowers his head and takes it like on the top of the head, which like should knock him out, but instead he's like basically fine, and you hear all the bones in his opponent's hand break, and then he like grabs his wrist and breaks his elbow the wrong direction. It's a pretty gnarly, gross fight. Nobody's looking forward to fighting that guy. All right, on from that cheery news.
So there's no other fights today because the caster competition was canceled.
Yeah, nothing else for the day. Um, but you see Skip comes into your. Well, you're in Skip's booth, actually. He comes into his own booth. Congratulations, Zerwin. I caught the end of it. I'm not sure what happened. You ended up that position, but you got up first, and that's all that matters. Are you all right?
I feel great. I could use a drink.
Yes, we should go have one. Would you all like to head over to the Bard's Cobbler?
That sounds perfect.
Great. Dupe, going to Albert Rodeo?
Yes.
Skip says that to us. Yeah, Skip, if you want to go to an owlbear rodeo, that sounds good too. I mean,
Yeah, I can't remember
will they
where's
have drinks there?
The Bard's Cobbler is much, much calmer and more muted. There's still quite a few people in there, but it's kind of that you get there at like 4:35 p.m. Um, uh, and there's a much smaller crowd. In fact, the bouncers don't want to let anyone in until they see that it's Skip and you all, and they're like, okay, come on in. Just don't disturb the competition, please.
What competition?
The food competition, the chef thing. Have you not?
Oh
Just-
yeah.
Right, yeah. There's a bunch of things happening at once.
Yeah, we'll stay out of the way. Skip. Just let us know what we got to do in here.
All right, so there's the couple notable people in here who you may or may not have seen before. Let's put one of them up. Most of the attention is focused around this guy. He's
Did he cook for us before, or was that somebody else?
no, he's been in here. You've seen him in here before, but now, like, this is the face, the happy face he was wearing last time he was here, and now he's wearing a much more serious face. And he's seated at a table with a bunch of other serious-looking people, and they're like tasting the foods and like talking kind of quietly amongst themselves and like writing in a notebook. This is like party happy time Fly, and then what you're seeing now is serious Fly. Skip gets you a table. So I think we have some more problems. I should say I think I have some more problems. Otho is squarely blaming you for trying to speak with Dead and hiding the information. My brother let you go because he doesn't care. All that matters to him is that it wasn't done by anyone from the Empire, which both you, who are somewhat independent, and his own casters have verified. He's confident that no matter who the Fey Kingdom send, they'll be able to determine the same information. But Otho is displeased, and Otho is a powerful and disturbing young man. Otho has been advocating to my brother to allow him to experiment on living subjects. And my brother's considering it.
What kind of experiments?
I don't know. Magic ones. I know that I've known Otho since we were both boys. And I know that Otho used to have a taxidermy habit. My suspicion is that Otho wants to be able to raise super soldiers that are humans mixed with powerful animals like Grom.
Was
You described
Grom
it as a
created?
taxidermy habit. My guess is that that's a particularly gentle way of describing it.
Yes.
Right.
Otho is not someone you want to be alone in a room with. Otho's not someone you want to be alone around with at all.
Whether or not there's a room.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. But so he's framing us for the speak with Dead.
I don't know if he's framing you. I think he genuinely believes that you are lying.
Well, Ezra, tell him we're not lying.
Yep, that'll do it.
Sounds like you didn't talk to the plants.
Yep.
That's actually a really great call. You can go in there, do a
Well,
plant
he would have to.
interrogation.
He or someone he trusts would have to talk to the plants.
What's Otho's background? How did he become the magus?
Mysterious death of the previous magus.
Got it.
And before that, he was a taxidermy enthusiast.
He is an incredibly gifted magic user. Also obsessively studies, obsessive about everything. Doesn't really have friends, doesn't really have a family. Was a very powerful magic user who was a pride and joy student because he did everything right. Never got in trouble. Never.
So, like, are we? Does he have a known position on the disturbance of the magic in the Fae lands right now?
Not that I wouldn't know. I haven't been here in a long
You
time.
should
Who
ask him about that. You should
who ch-
see. You should see if he has an opinion. You
was
should
he
check in.
appointed or elected to that position
Yes, he was elected.
by
The
Council of Mages, I assume?
Yeah, they do their own thing. It has to be approved by the emperor, their appointments, but it's a it's a nominal thing. The emperor always approves the appointments of the the College of Mages. And to speak to your point, Dirk, I I guess I could, but what would you want me to say? First of all, I don't like speaking with Otho at all, but
Hmm.
I would for the greater good. So what do you propose?
Look, I just feel like we should be checking in on the. It doesn't seem centered enough to me that there is very clearly an existing problem here, and that it's not just a thing that we're investigating from the outside. And it doesn't seem like there's much of a sense of urgency or the fact that, like, maybe we could be working together. And if this particular civil servant uh, had a perspective on that, then maybe we could negotiate with that. Or, frankly, can I speak entirely freely? No, obviously, you don't like this guy. Uh, I'm concerned that if he's not bringing this up with the Emperor and bringing this up with the other mages, or presenting it forward, I'm concerned that he may be willfully ignoring it, or dare I say, participating. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to put any crazy ideas out there. I'm just trying to explore the space.
So you want me to subtly query about his position on the potential corruption of the Phalanx?
Yeah, just feel him out a little bit.
If he's a powerful magic user, would he have felt her death last night?
This is what I'm saying.
Maybe
Wouldn't he have felt it? They must have been within 50 miles if they
he's
got here this morning.
he's not sorry. He's a powerful magic user, is what I said, not sorcerer.
Mm.
Oh, and she was a sorcerer?
Yes, but he still might have felt it. I don't know. Possible.
Mm.
But I would also be interested to know, like, hasn't he noticed the issues, like, with the ley lines if he's a magic user?
Oh, I mean, he sounds a little bit like a scumbag, but you know, sorry, meaning maybe he's involved.
And I assume nobody told him about, like, the opening ceremonies and the firebolt exploding. I forget what's his name.
You would think that somebody would have mentioned it to him. Maybe Skip. Skip, did anybody mention anything to
I assume that my brother knows everything. It's safer that way.
you? The assuming is safer.
Assuming that my brother knows everything is safer than assuming that he doesn't know literally anything.
Okay.
I don't understand that, but I will agree with you because you're smart. And also, I don't want to start anything.
He's my brother has I've never been able to to get a secret past him. Not because I cracked, but everyone else around him cracks. He's got fingers and ears everywhere.
Oh God, fingers and ears everywhere sounds terrible.
Yeah, he's like a giant
Ear
angel, right?
fingers.
Like a biblical angel.
Yeah, no, it's
I thought you were
terrible.
gonna say a giant wet willy, or like
Also,
Yeah.
infinite wet willies
Oh
descending.
God! Oh God! Let the demons rule. Stop it.
Don't forget, there will be devils there too. You know, to try to keep
Oh,
things organized.
that's true.
it's gonna be Wet Willie's on a schedule forever.
Wet
All right,
willies and the schedule.
on a schedule. All right. At that point, there is a kerfuffle at the front door, and one of the bouncers just collapses bonelessly on the ground.
I'm sorry, what? Like he doesn't actually have bones? Like he's now a mop? Or like that is a description of the style of fall?
That is a description of the style of fall.
Okay. Yeesh.
Somebody walk in the door, or does he just fall?
I thought you might want to react in some way, but sure, I'll go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was.
Can I go get him up?
Should we
I
help
mean,
that guy?
actually, wait. We
I
got our
gotta help
weapons
that
back.
guy.
We got our weapons back when we left, right?
Yeah.
Which one of those guards turned into a dwarf for holding my axe?
No one took your axe.
Hey,
You
like put
put
it
him.
in a lockbox or
Yeah, you put
something.
them all.
Oh, nobody touched it. Oh, okay. No, okay. Nobody was playing with it, right? There were no dwarves that popped up.
You know what they didn't take was the crown.
Yeah, well, shouldn't
Better
have.
not have.
Right. Walking through the door, stepping over the now boneless and dead ? Bouncer is this dude.
Well, Owen would have definitely ran over to heal that guy. By
Oh
the way,
no.
Yeah. Ezra, you can make a knowledge check.
Insight? Is that a knowledge? Or Arcana?
Yep. Any of them that'll do it for you.
All right. Well, 22.
That's Varys. You know Varys because Varys is Azadarel's grandson, and he runs basically like he's the guy walking through the woods, making sure that all the shit is right in the woods. No one's going around hacking down 1,000-year-old trees, right? Because if they start to touch one, this guy shows up and tears your arms off. He's got a
how
scary
big is he?
reputation. He's not that big. He's like,
Would he be considered like a prince then?
yeah, it's like 6.5 feet with the things on the top of his head. So probably like 6'2", 6'3", maybe.
And Skip is with us, right?
Yes. So Varys scans the room, and here's the best part. The people judging the food at the table don't even look up. They're just in foodie heaven. He scans the room and he sees Skip, and Skip's like, "Fuck! Oh fuck!" He stands
Let me
up.
try to talk to him. Let me try to talk to him first.
Skip is like reaching for his sword. Skip,
I'll go talk to him, Skip.
you're gonna talk to that thing that just killed a bouncer to get in here? You know that
Ezra
guy?
looked at the bouncer. Is the bouncer dead?
I don't know. You're not close enough to find out.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can, turn the heat down a little bit. And Ezra quickly, expediently approaches and says, Prince Varys, the governor is here. We can all speak with you.
Do I know you?
Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ezra. I'm originally from the Feywild. I recognized you when you came in. I am so sorry for the loss of your grandmother.
Thank you. It is good to see the subjects here. Are you well?
I am, and I would be glad to make time and space for you to speak with the governor. He's here with us. We've been investigating on his behalf into the murder of your grandmother, and we can give you some information about what happened.
Murdered?
Yes.
By the way, he bellows murdered in a way that it echoes in the like common room of the Bard's Cobbler. It's gotten real quiet in there.
It must be good.
People are staring into their mugs, really trying not to draw attention to themselves.
Would you be able to join us if we went to the governor's estate?
I must see my grandmother.
All right, let's work on that for you.
Take me to her, please, Ezra.
All right, Ezra goes back. Varys, wait here, please, Prince Varys, for just a moment. I'll go talk to the governor and see if we can and see about making that happen. And Ezra goes over to tell Skip.
Okay.
Skip, he wants to see his grandmother now.
Yeah, I bet he does.
I think we need to try to make that happen.
Yep. Yes, we do. Let's go. Now is good for me.
Ezra pounds his drink.
Varys has when you said please wait here, he has literally not moved a muscle.
How many drinks did I get in before we're leaving for this?
Half a one. You have to pound it before you leave.
Okay, I pound mine and the rest of Skip's and any other half glasses I find on the way out.
Sorry, Zerwin, not much celebrating for you today. Luck, like, it's everyone's like staring down into their beer like intently, and like maybe looking up every once in a while. So there's not a lot of floaters hanging around either.
Okay.
Ezra,
Yes.
take me to my grandmother.
We'll go there presently. And Ezra begins to lead the way to the estate where Queen Zadorel and all of her were staying.
Which was back over here?
It's the place where we were this morning, generally speaking.
Wait, wasn't it down here? How do you select multiple people like that?
You just drag and drop. Just drag,
It's not that one.
click and drag.
It's not that
How
one.
do you?
It's this one.
How do you? Oh, okay. How do you select all of them at once? Click
Just
and drag what?
click somewhere else and drag.
That makes me move my
Oh,
screen.
I'm sorry. There's a select.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Got it.
sorry. There's a select one underneath the hand in the upper right. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Got it. We're down there.
There's also yeah. And then you can do it as a rectangle or as a lasso.
This is the house in which my grandmother resides.
Yes,
It is ugly and made of stone.
I agree.
The guards at the front gate are about to die because they're about to say something stupid like you can't get in here when Skip like steps forward and is like, you need to move now, please. And they, again, I'm not going to make you roll for this, but there is a real subtle but palpable respect that Skip commands at all times from members of the soldiery, which I want to point out something here. The Imperial Guard, think about them as Praetorians, right? It is not the same as the army, right? They are two different forces. And right now the city is being occupied by the Imperial Guard. And you know that there's a force a legion stationed outside of the city, but you still haven't checked on the camp or anything. But you know they are there. Okay, apologies. Moving on. Nothing has changed inside, but when he walks in, remember those two servants who left that were sitting at the table?
Yeah.
They're both, I mean, assumingly they've moved around and stuff, but they're both still in that room, that main room. And when Varys walks in, both of them start gibbering and like crying and like bowing and like trying to touch his feet. He like his eyes get really wide and he goes, "Silence!" And they both immediately shut up. And he says, "I will deal with you later. Sit." And he says sit in a way that like every dog in a mile radius just automatically sat. And then he motions, "Please, friend Ezra, lead on."
Ezra leads him to the room. Prince Varys, the Imperial Magus was the last to investigate the room. Would you allow me a moment to see the state that the room is in before you enter?
Open the door.
Right away. Ezra opens the door.
Okay. It looks exactly the same.
Okay.
It doesn't look like anything has been moved or touched.
Great. So
He
no alcohol.
he immediately walks over to his grandmother's body and kneels down next to it. You see that you know that he is casting some sort of spell, and the flowers, which have all withered and are basically dead on Azadirel's body, like he picks them and like puts them on his shoulders and in his hair, and they root and blossom again and are alive again. And he makes like I'm not gonna say contented, but like like a relieved sigh. I was not too late. And then he stands up and begins speaking with the plants. I don't know, Dirk, if you want to cast Speak with Plants again, but
I'll
only
feel
you.
it out for right now.
Yeah.
I'll just like see how it goes.
And he's doing the spell. He's not just using Sylvan, right?
He's using the spell. So you can't hear anything the plants say, right? But he's also speaking to them in a language that probably no one except for Ezra probably can translate. But he's asking them basic questions. He's doing it in a kind of like a surprisingly soft way. He's like leaning over and being like, "Tell me, little ones, tell me everything." And then he goes
Oh, do
over
we
to.
know?
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, do we know if she brought the plants or if they were part of the estate?
You did not ask that.
Yeah.
Wait, is he even being gentle with the Northern British one?
He hasn't got there yet.
Oh, okay.
He gets to the hanging plant and he says, "Who are you?" He like interrogates the plant for a few minutes, and then he after he seems to be satisfied, he says, "Tell me everything," and listens for a long time. And then he goes to the shrub, the tree shrub, and that's the one that had the Northern English accent, Kyle.
Yeah.
And the first thing he says to it is, "It's good to see you, brother." And and then he like kind of chuckles a little bit, which is a weird noise that it doesn't sound like a human laugh at all, but like a weird like sticks rolling around in a hollow log kind of sound.
Beautiful description.
Fire Kermit of the Allwaiter. Yeah. Alleywaiter. Oh, yeah, no.
That log had a child.
Sorry. Foxy Proxy is just asking me a question. What was the question we had about that art piece again? Oh, why the crow was wearing the bone hat, I think was one of them. And also, did you draw it by hand or did you use a computer? All right, so Varys has like a friendly, laughing conversation with the tree shrub, and eventually he gets around to asking it, the relevant questions, and he seems satisfied. Then he turns and says, "Okay, everyone, have you seen these people before?" And then what? One at a time, please. Yes. Okay. Which one? That one. You, sir. You can speak with plants. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I hope they gave you truthful answers.
Me too. I didn't want to intrude on your conversation, so I wasn't really listening. Do you want to like compare notes or anything? Or
Yes.
okay, yeah.
What did they
Absolutely.
tell you?
They told me, and I told these guys, so help me guys with the remembering. That a hole opened up in the bed, and there were some hands that reached up. There was a lot of reference to claws, and they grabbed her and pulled her down through the hole, like down, and that was through the bed down. And then the room went dark, and then shortly thereafter, she fell through the ceiling back onto the bed, which no longer had a hole. And she landed, and when she landed, she was sadly already deceased.
Did you ask them about movement in the air?
No. Movement in the air. No.
Plants are very sensitive to air movement.
I did not know that. That's what. So, did you ask them about that?
I did.
Can you tell us what they said?
I have been able to deduce that my grandmother was taken to another plane of existence.
From the air movement?
Yes, and temperature and humidity.
Do
I
you have
didn't
any ideas about
know.
what plane it might have been?
I am unsure.
We think it was fiendish in nature. So either demons or devils, so it could have been either the abyss or one of the hells.
It could have been. I suspect, however, that it was some other place. A place we call the nightmare.
The nightmare. What's that?
It is another realm of darkness.
That's.
Sorry.
Is there any other
Yep, give me 1
information
second.
about it?
Yes, sorry, 1 minute.
Yeah. I don't know if that was just character pace.
No. Apologies. I have to pause for a second. It is the place of, if you consider the Fey realms to be the place of wild magic, of magic that is full of life, of magic that is life, of magic that creates, of magic that births, the nightmare is the other magic. That which devours, which destroys, which negates.
Got it. And that's where she went.
I believe so. I cannot be certain. I am guessing based on what the plans have told me.
We heard some stuff about
Look here. He walks over to the like climbing vine thing that's hanging on the wall, and he pulls off like, or he pulls up one little part that's on the carpet or on the floor closest to where the body was found, and it's all singed and black on the very outside. This is not fire. This is death magic. Magic which is popular in the nightmare.
Okay. So, do you have any idea why anybody from the nightmare might, might be interested in harming Elazar?
Harming Zadarel.
Zadarel, excuse me.
No. But I must. Her friend, the elf, he is here still.
He is.
I would
He
like to
should
speak
still be
with
here
him.
in the estate. A few other notes from our investigation. There was some sort of gag spell that was placed around her neck. That's why she wasn't not able to cast spells to save herself.
I have heard of artifacts like this. They are infernal in nature. I have not ever seen one, however, and I know not the precise workings of a mechanism like that. May I please speak with the elf?
Let's see if we can get him to meet with you.
Varys closes his eyes for a minute and then says, "He will meet us in the great room." He then walks with you back to the main room, and he turns to the first servant and says something in a language not even Ezra understands, and none of you recognize. And the servant bows and basically nods silently. And he turns to the other one and says, "You, however, will stay." And then LSR walks in. Everyone can roll perception check on LSR's reaction.
21.
Gentleman's 24.
I got a 9.
A lot of gentleman's rolls tonight.
17.
Everyone but Zerwin notices that LSR is, I don't know if glad is the right word, but maybe a little relieved to see Varys. Like, this isn't happy times, but this is someone I know I can trust kind of face. He reaches out and they clasp forearms, and that kind of like, weirdly manly way when they don't want to hug because their cultures won't let them hug because they're men. They do that thing. And let's see, they speak to each other in Sylvan. So who here speaks Sylvan? Anyone? Ezra. All right, so only Ezra can understand what they say to each other. Varys asks Ellis if he has investigated, if so, what he's found. Ellis responds in Sylvan that he has done some investigations, but he lacks access to the magical powers that he needs in order to do this properly. and that he very much needs to get out of this house in order to continue the investigations. Varys asks who is imprisoning his friend in this house, and when Varys talks about this house, he makes it sound like a shitty ass tomb. Elisar responds that it is the Emperor, who is also in the city, and Varys says, I will speak with the Emperor on your behalf. And yeah, and then there's a thank you exchanged. And Varys says, I will speak to you again soon. Then he turns back to you and speaks to you again in common. May I please speak to the Emperor? You, Governor. You are his brother, are you not? And Skip nods. And Varys says, will you please take me to him? Skip says, yes, I think that's a good idea. And off you go. Back through the rigmarole. However, this time you are all stopped before you go in that final building. You're held outside, and only Skip and Varys are allowed in. You got a couple minutes to kill if there's anything you want to do while you're here. Just want to rob anyone of opportunities to do anything funky.
Do you guys think it's important for us to know what happens in that conversation? I don't really think so.
I don't want to interrogate. I don't want to put myself into that one.
After a few minutes, Varys comes back out with Skip. Skip looks like Skip's hiding a smile. And Varys says, Friend Ezra, please take me back to see my grandmother. I have a hard time remembering my way around cities like as large as this one. You've literally gone 100 yards.
Yeah, we'll bring him back.
You take him back, and he turns to Skip and says, this one must stay with you. And he points to one of the two servants. And Skip is like, I do not need or want a servant of the Fey Kingdoms. And Varys says, you mistake me, friend. This one must stay in case there are communications that must be sent quickly. And Skip says, I don't understand exactly what that means. If you must get to me a message, you may tell this one, and this one can get the message to me through the trees. Okay, Skip says, but what do I... This one will not require much. A place to sleep. Water. That is all. And the servant, like, actually looks kind of comforted to be back in the, like, command of the royal family, as it were. Then, yeah. What else was he gonna do here again?
He did say that he was going to see his grandmother specifically. He didn't say the servants. So is it something related to...
Elisar, who he sees in the main room, he speaks to him, Sylvan again, and he says, you are free to go. What are your plans? And Elisar says, the halfling can understand us, but I will be in touch with you soon. And Varys,
as Ezra gives a nod to Elisar at that dimension.
Varys nods and says, in Sylvan, and this is the only word that everyone else can pick out is Ezra. Ezra seems like a friend. And Elisar says, well, I haven't seen him harm any trees, so he's okay with me so far. which you're pretty sure as you're reading the situation is like that's how he tells Varys that this person has not committed any trespasses or wrongs. And then he just basically LSR clasps his hand again and then walks out. Then Varys turns to you all and says, I need time alone with my grandmother.
Will you plan on staying the night here?
No. I will go out into the woods. There are trees north of town, a forest that has a Fey guardian. His name is Chuckles, I believe.
We're actually staying with him. We would be glad for you to join us there.
Chuckles has invited you to stay at his house.
Yes, there's no room in town with the games and everything going on. The cooking competition, you may have noticed.
He turns around and walks up the stairs. Not much for goodbyes, this one.
It's fine.
Oh shoot! We should ask him if he has heard anything about the missing child. If he could ask the trees and do us a favor. You do it next time we see him.
If you say that out loud, Skip says, what if that's hugely insulting, though, Zerwin?
Yeah, I think maybe we wait, but it's a good idea that we try to sneak that in at some point.
Well, I wouldn't say what did you do with this child. I would say, would you be able to help us by providing any information that the trees may have seen?
I don't think the children happen to be disappearing around trees, though. Most of them are either in the city or in the fields. So it's possible that, like, if they're getting abducted into one of the forests, then maybe the trees there might know something, but those would be a long way away from here.
Where's the forest start?
I mean, the forest is all around, right? But like all cities and towns, it has a huge like space carved out around it where people have planted fields, where they have built
Yeah,
houses.
so on Owlbear, like, is this green northeast of the city forest?
It is. This is like, okay, hold on. All of this is forest.
Right. And didn't that girl disappear right here?
No,
Where'd she disappear?
She was in the
down
fields
here.
to the southwest.
But there is also forest that curves down here.
Yeah.
This is
So
also
it
forest.
was relatively close to the forest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be insulting, so Skip, I thank you for checking this, but
I think
I
it's
think
good
there's
to
a
be
way we
thinking
can
about.
ask this. Say,
Yeah,
you seem to be friendly with him. Say, could you help us investigate this?
yeah,
Or
I
without
mean, he's
implying that
mourning his
you,
grandmother.
yeah.
He's getting situated. I think that as we continue to build trust, we can try to figure out a way to ask him or like mention, hey, there are these disappearances that have been happening here for
I wouldn't
generations.
I wouldn't even ask that. I would just reference this specific one.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to point another thing out here, because I feel like this is a thing that you would pick up on. Look at the Owlbear Rodeo map, right? I'm going to highlight a couple things. Do you see this right here? This building?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this building?
Yep.
And this building? And this building? The reason that there are these clearly like marked off forests with these one buildings on it is because these are lumber companies. And the only space that isn't being lumbered, right, isn't being cut down are the woods around Chuckles' place and north of this stream. Everything else is being managed by lumber companies. And again,
Mm.
up here, this is the mines in the far northwest corner.
Yeah. I mean, but even then, like with the population being centered in the city, most of the kids are disappearing in the city, right?
Roughly half of them are.
Okay.
Right, but if they are not being kept inside the city, my guess is they would have to travel through these forests somewhere. And if they have, maybe he can talk. Yeah, for another day.
Do we have a late night play rehearsal or anything?
No. Um,
Guys, we gotta memorize our lines.
yeah, they're basically just counting on you to memorize your lines and roll with the script. Here's the thing. You've gathered that this acting troupe is as much about the music, about the presentation. They're not actually known as great actors. They're known as entertainers, right? They juggle, they sing, they play music, they dance, they tell stories. Their
It's like an
acting,
improv troupe.
yeah, their acting is okay. It's not the most important thing they do.
The mistakes make it funnier.
And because they mostly do either a really over the top drama, which they mentioned, or sorry, a really over the top tragedy, or a really bawdy comedy, they don't have like they're over actors for the most part. But they have a good reputation of being like solid, like people enjoy it, right? It's like they go and they sing and dance and tell stories and juggle and swallow swords and have amazing costumes and people are awed. That's AWED, not ODD, but I think you got that. People are also odd. All right. It's getting late. You've got a couple minutes left before we have to end the session, but is there anything else you want to do before we call it a night?
I mean, we'll need to let Chuckles know that Varys is here, but we don't need to like have a whole conversation about it. Do we think anyone else is at risk of being harmed? Like anyone who's in imminent danger? Getting a soft no vibe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I can't think of anything. Usually, as usual, I feel like I'm probably missing something, but
Okay.
nothing jumps out.
All right. It's really not that late in the night yet. When you guys get done with all this, it's still kind of early evening. So I'm not going to just say that you guys go to bed. You probably go maybe to the Bard's Cobbler to get some dinner and drinks. You still haven't celebrated Zerwin's second round victory yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he deserves another drink.
Mm.
Um, okay. The when you get back there, the food judging is done, and it's like a more relaxed, festive atmosphere again. Um, the people are smiling. That guy Fly has his, slightly stoned look about him again. Um, you see Bundo is there, um, and you see Eartha is there, Eartha, um, and Andrej is there. He is very interested in hanging out with you guys and buying you a drink. And the actors are all there. And I'm going to leave you there for the night. And I don't think we have time to get to the next cliffhanger. So we might start the next session with a end of session cliffhanger. Gonna be good times. Okay, let's call it there. It's been a productive evening. Let's do danger awesome points.
Mine's going to Ezra for managing both Alazar and the Emperor for the group.
Absolutely to Ezra.
Thanks, guys. Well, I mean, come on. Gotta give it to Zerwin for winning me some money. I don't know how to do the calculation of how much money he won me.
You got
So
ask Zerwin.
if someone could
Well,
tell me.
you said it was 5-6 against.
Yep.
So, hold on.
$840, I think, right? Is that right, Zach?
Yep, 840.
Yeah.
So you get
You
back
won
your
140.
yeah.
Hardly seems worth it. Low risk, low reward.
Um,
Could have parlayed it with Andrej.
you're gonna make me set up a fucking betting wall, aren't you? Foxy, who tuned in maybe halfway through, I think, gives Ezra a danger awesome point.
Thanks, Foxy.
Since there are two other players that aren't here tonight, I'm also going to give out. I think I'm going to give a danger awesome point to Dirk for feeding good ideas to both Ezra and Zerwin, and sort of supportive behind the scenes roles, and also to Zerwin for rolling a nat 20 when he probably would have lost that round otherwise. Jenna?
Mine goes to Zerwin for winning against the rhino guy.
Grom. All right. I'm not going to do a prize giveaway tonight because there was no one watching for at least half of the show, but I still have plenty for the next couple weeks. So tune in and I will get more dice to the dice goblins. And I need to mail out these prizes that I haven't mailed out yet. I gotta go through my prize things. Anyway, gonna call it there. Stopping the stream. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching to our loyal Foxy.
That's
Bye,
right.
everybody.